Three, two, one, we're back.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for joining us. I'm Brendan Gulick alongside Michigan Wolverine Jeannie Shin Cooper.
Working for the Big Ten Network is really exciting. It's a completely different world than teaching, and I think I like that I get to use a different part of my brain. I also love the game, and so I get to stay in the game. I get to watch a lot of field hockey and understand what's happening with the teams.
Number 2, Maryland, is coming in really hot. They've only lost one game this season, and their offense looks solid.
When I was younger, my brother and I grew up on the ice. He was an ice hockey player, and I was a figure skater, and I asked my mom if I could play ice hockey, and back then, gender roles were a little different, and she said, no, you should stick to figure skating. And so when field hockey was offered in 5th grade, I sort of went to my mom and said, it's hockey for girls, Mom, you can't say no. So that just began my love for field hockey, and I've been playing for over 30 years now. I played all 4 years at Michigan. I started my sophomore year, so I was a 3-year starter, and I was all Big Ten, all West Region, won 2 Big Ten championships there, and also the first University of Michigan team to go to the Final Four and also play in the national championship.
Miss Shin Cooper is awesome. I had her freshman year for AP Human Geography, and she's just like such an engaging teacher. She really cares about the subject material, but even more than that, she cares about her students.
I like to call Miss Shin Cooper my at-school mom. I like to go to her a lot during my off days. She's been a lot of help, not only like career-wise, academic-wise. So Miss Shin Cooper is actually the sponsor of our Asian Student Association. So she's been a great help in kind of finding like Asian identity and kind of empowering AAPI students within the building.
It's super cool to see Miss Shin Cooper on the Big Ten Network. She was so excited. I remember freshman year when she started doing it, she was so excited. She came into our classroom telling everybody about it. You could tell that it's something that, like her students, she was ready to put her entire work ethic into, and seeing her able to do that in addition to teaching makes me believe that I can do that in the future as well and not just be stuck in one spot.
The main reason that I am a teacher is for the relationships. I'm committed to the classroom. I don't ever see myself leaving the classroom, and that's because I've met some incredible people, and when I was little, I didn't really see a whole lot of faces that looked like mine on TV. And I feel like that's one of my motivating factors is I want other youth, other people to see a face like mine on TV in sports. I think it can be pretty inspirational, and I've gotten feedback about that, and that's what keeps me going.
Just getting her dollar's worth. A little dumpster dance.
All right, here we are at the Fremont House. Today we did some more demolition. Students today worked on tearing down the ceilings, upstairs and downstairs. All right, so you guys can work through. All right, Cole, and you can get out of the way. They're making great progress on the house. We're ahead of schedule as far as what we were planning to be at as far as the demolition stage. All right, so the house is almost completely gutted as far as the drywall and ceiling on the walls and ceilings go. We started applying some new plywood to the subfloor and the first floor to cover up some and smooth out some unevenness with the different layers of tiles that were in the house. Everyone's itchy now. All this insulation that they left when they put the second story up on the original house, coming down, we're all itchy. All right, so you can see the students in the back, they're filling up bags with some of the insulation that came out of the ceilings. So all 4 sections of my class, all the kids are coming in, they're ready to work, they're ready to learn, they're putting in some hard work, they're sweating, they're getting tired, but they're coming in here with a great attitude and making things happen. The next phase of the job is going to be continuing with the demolition work. Yeah. We'll be removing some of the existing conduit and wiring, the existing plumbing needs to come out. We'll also be starting to remove all the old ductwork that was in the house. Give our subcontractors a nice clean slate to work with.
Baba, hi. Maybe you can do this.
The CLS program is the Career Life Skills program. This is a district-wide program for students with cognitive disabilities. All students from across the district come to John Hersey High School and participate in a foundational program which develops independent living skills for students in the Career Life Skills program.
Who wants pepperoni? Raise your hand if you want pepperoni. One.
Yeah, red pepperoni.
Oh, then you should raise your hand.
This is a cooking class that we have for students with intellectual disabilities. They're practicing all sorts of different skills for life. They learn how to read a recipe, they make a shopping list, we go to the store, they find the ingredients, we go, we buy the ingredients, and they learn how to cook. They're also learning all of the kitchen utensils. They're learning how to use all of our different appliances, where items go in the kitchen.
Where does this go? Got it.
This program's amazing. It is a huge community of students. They really get a great experience in moving from class to class. They get to take electives and things that they're interested in. They truly get a real high school experience here, and the feeling that you get walking through these doors and coming into a classroom is just amazing.
Recording, wave the camera. I'm a teacher aide in Miss Brownlee's work class, and this is a class where the CLS students learn about different jobs. What do we get when we're done working?
Money.
Yeah, we get money.
From Miss Brownie.
Yep, we get money from Miss Brownlee. Remember, not too many at one time. And so throughout the period, they each work on different skill sets, and then at the end of the period, Miss Brownlee gives them paper money, which then they can either save up or use in a little store that they have in the classroom to buy things that they want.
Hello.
Can you say your name?
My name is David Allende.
David, me and him work together a lot. He is not very verbal, so he uses an app on his iPad called Touch Chat, and we like to eat lunch together, and we're always kind of walking around together, and he likes to help out and fill my water bottle, and it's really fun. He's like my best friend. I know you like the cameras.
One of our major social and experiential events is the big game, which we have at the beginning of every school year. The entire school participates to bring this game to fruition. It's a great event that reflects the kindness, the compassion, and the excitement of the Hersey community. Our students meet and greet a lot of general education students. This past homecoming, one of our students was elected to royalty, and he was a part of the royal court.
So it feels happy and exciting, and it's like for the people. So because we are like the Huskies, and we stick together as one.
This garden has cucumbers, tomatoes, red pepper. If they're ready to pick, we can give it to kitchen, the people who's cooking, and they can cook for lunch.
There are a lot of opportunities for our students to develop their independent living skills. Some of those are, we operate a micro business called Brewed Awakenings, which is our coffee business. It's a vibrant business where the students come up and purchase a cup of coffee from us. We also have a graphics class, which we co-teach with the general ed teacher.
You know, this is a fabulous experience. They'll learn from beginning to end how to make a t-shirt. They'll learn from beginning to end how to make a vinyl. I just think that this opportunity for them to have this class is awesome. Greg Miller does a great job. It's so much fun.
We also have a strong work program by which our students participate when they are seniors. They work half of the day and develop those work skills and attitudes by being a part of community-related businesses.
We just sort them up and stand them so people can see their adorable little faces, so then maybe they can buy them for a little kid.
So our students have a lot of opportunities to get out into the community and practice their social skills, their work habits, work attitudes, and to understand the necessity of being a part of the community. So Hersey is a great place where our students can practice their social skills, interact and interface and be connected to their community. And so it's been a wonderful opportunity and a great experience for all of our students to be a part of this amazing, open, friendly, and welcoming community.
This is Transportation Career Day. So we kind of came up with an idea that was going to really benefit and help the transportation industry. Anybody that has their hands on transportation, whether it's construction or military, automotive group, we wanted to get them out here just to inspire and educate the students of our district.
There you go, there you go, there you go, there you go. Get it up, it's not gonna drop it. No, oh, no. Oh, man.
I'm here at the Transportation Day. I think it's really cool, you know. I'm trying to get into some automotive, like engineering or something, and just see where it takes me.
Came out here to see all the different cars and came to see what this is about.
I came here to look at cars, look at different careers. I'm planning on going on UTI or Trident College.
At Transportation today, we currently have about 50 or more industry partners here that came out to just share what they do with our students at Wheeling and at District 214. Another aspect of Transportation Day is we wanted to include aviation. We have this great aviation pathway at District 214, so we have a shuttle going to Chicago Executive Airport that's taking students to the airport so they can see our class that's offered there and all the planes that are there.
This is the top paid airline base salary in the industry right now.
We have a VR simulation that's showing kids how to fly airplanes going on in one of our classrooms where about 30 kids at the same time can learn and be on our pilot simulator. We also have a repair VR set up over here so students can actually virtually repair a vehicle while on site.
That's trippy, right? Yeah. Wait.
Yeah, that's
you
better.
You were right there.
I'd like to call to order the business meeting for November 17th of the District 214 Board of Education. Would you please call the roll?
Dustling.
Here.
Palmer.
Here.
Heineman.
Here.
Kreutzer. Petro.
Here.
Rauch. Here. Walker.
Here.
Thank you. Would you join me in Pledge of Allegiance, please? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Have we got the sheet down here? Okay, we have two sets of minutes to approve. The October 20th, 2022 regular meeting minutes and the closed session for that same day. Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Please call the roll.
Palmer. Aye. Petro.
Aye.
Dustling.
Yes.
Heineman.
Yes.
Rauch. Aye. Walker.
Yes.
We now have some board recognition. Dr. Schuler.
Thank you very much. I'd like to introduce Patrick Moggy, Director of Community Engagement and Outreach, to facilitate the recognition portion of our board meeting this evening. Patrick?
Thank you, Dr. Schuler. Tonight, we are recognizing longtime partner Northwest Community Healthcare for its support of our apprenticeship programs. To begin, we would like to share a spotlight story regarding our partnership.
Hi, my name's Ria. Today we're here at Northwest Community Hospital. I'm going into senior year of high school and I'm working as an apprentice. Hi, Sue. I put the sit-to-stand lift, I put it in the therapy gym for you.
Northwest Community was very interested in working with District 214 with this apprenticeship program. I figured it would be a wonderful opportunity to bring a student onto the unit and expose them to what we do here in the hospital. It's a great learning opportunity for students here. Great experience right off the bat, and of course the extra help in the hospital setting is certainly appreciated.
Hi, I'm gonna do your blood pressure. I'm on the rehab unit right now, so I learn a lot about stroke victims, brain injuries, things like that, and basically how to care and aid for patients who have weakness or they have aphasia where they can't talk. I took the CNA class at Hersey, my high school. We did it at the school, and I think it definitely helped me because the entire class was training on how to be a CNA/PCP. So everything I learned, I use all of that education every day while here at my job.
Hey, your pressure is 137/86.
One of my favorite things to do throughout the day is just talking to patients and making sure everything's in check, and if it's not, I'll help them get there and make sure everything's all right. Throughout being an apprentice and, you know, getting my CNA license and being a PCT here at the hospital, it definitely helped me realize that I want to pursue the medical field, and I hopefully want a future in nursing.
Very nice. Dr. Schuler, would you, Board President Dussling and Vice President Palmer, please join me for partner recognition? We welcome from Northwest Community Healthcare, Laura King, an RN recruiter. Northwest Community Healthcare became an industry partner for the Certified Nursing Apprenticeship in the summer of 2022. Currently, there are 4 seniors working on various floors of the hospital in oncology, orthopedic, cardiac surveillance, and inpatient rehab. The dedication and commitment of the administration and staff has been incredible. Our students are receiving authentic healthcare experience at our top-rated community hospital with professionals who are mentoring them in the competencies needed to complete this Department of Labor registered apprenticeship program. Our goal is to continue to partner with Northwest Community Healthcare and grow the talent pipeline for the future of excellence in healthcare. Thank you to Northwest Community Healthcare for our ongoing partnership in the area of apprenticeships. It is relationships like this that empower our students and teach them the skills they need to succeed both personally and professionally. Thank you.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Okay, David, do you want to do the video spot? We're going to do that at a different time. Okay. Okay, we are now at the point of the meeting where a member will take public comments from members who have signed up prior to the meeting start. And we do have a number that wanted to speak, and I will read my normal words prior to that. The Board of Education welcomes public comments at this time on non-agenda items. There are also 2 other opportunities to address the board during the meeting. The first is following each action item presentation, following the board discussion before the vote, and the second is following discussion items presentation following board discussion. And we do have people who want to address the board tonight. We believe in free speech, and as a board and district, we value comments from the community at our meetings and through emails. As a board and district, we always try to communicate back with dignity and consideration. The members of your Board of Education are members of your communities. They are serving because they believe that the district should provide the best possible education for every student, and they believe they can assist, support, and work towards that belief. They volunteer their time. There is no salary provided for their service. Please offer comments regarding concerns about the district, but please try to present them in a fashion that provides dignity to the sender and consideration of the board members and district staff. The Board of Education asks each person to please limit all their comments to 3 minutes regarding their topics of concern. However, if several people want to address the board on similar topics, the board president may limit the time to 2 minutes per person. Although comments may be made on almost any matter related to the operation of the schools, comments will not be allowed identifying individual students or staff members. The Board of Education appreciates everyone that takes time to appear before the board and treats all with courtesy and respect. The board practice is not to respond to public questions or comments at this time. However, we do listen carefully. If required, a written response will be provided. To be fair and consistent to everyone addressing the board, the same protocols and procedures must be in place for everyone. The green light on the podium indicates that your time has started. The yellow light indicates you have 30 seconds remaining, and the red light means your time has expired. Please come forward to the microphone and clearly state your name for the minutes. If you wish a written response, please make sure Mrs. Keys has your full address clearly written on the sign-up sheet. Thank you. And we will start with the first person for tonight, and that is Melissa Kayer.
Melissa Kayer. Individualized retirement packages instead of an amorphous pension fund where someone from the state of Illinois tells you how much property tax money you need to put into it. Have at each pay stub, the employee contributes some to the retirement package and the employer, District 214, contributes some to the retirement fund. That way the employee may track their retirement fund. Do not increase property taxes. Decrease expenses, decrease property taxes. And also pare down high school level sports and pare down high school level college. Thanks.
Thank you. Next is Maria Munoz, please.
For several months now, we have been hearing from concerned parents across the nation voice their deep concern with pornography being introduced within middle and high schools through books. Most recently in Michigan, we heard of a lawsuit placed against a school district for not implementing a common sense policy that would keep students safe from sexually explicit content and pornography within books. In this school district, parents feel that there is also a disconnect between you, our school board, and your understanding of the effects of pornography on the child and adolescent brain. Concerned parents understand that pornography is like a gateway drug to a host of psychological, sexual, and social dilemmas. I'd like to read what common sense research tells us about pornography. Pornography use increases the marital infidelity rate by more than 300%. Among couples affected by one spouse's addiction, 2/3 experience a loss of interest in sexual intercourse. Pornography is frequently a major factor in infidelity and divorce. Pornography viewing leads to a loss of interest in good family relations. Pornography is addictive, and neuroscientists are beginning to map its biological substrate. Users tend to become desensitized to the type of pornography they use and then seek more perverse forms of pornographic stimulation. Men who view pornography regularly have a high tolerance for abnormal sexuality, including rape, sexual aggression, and sexual promiscuity. Prolonged consumption of pornography by men produces stronger notions of women as commodities or as sex objects. Now, with all that said, why on earth are you as school board members on board with propagating media that showcases pornography through books? By allowing the free circulation of pornographic books, you are in essence disguising yourselves as arbitrators of truth on sexual formation and ethics when you are far from it. The research on pornography is on point. It acts as a gateway to disastrous social relations and objectifies both men and women. Why do you insist that these books be part of our curriculum or part of our student libraries? And why do these concerns fall deaf on your ears? If we are concerned with the healthy formation of our students and the healthy formation of their future families, especially of this community, would you not, at the least, have a conversation surrounding setting up a process whereby parents who feel objections to sexually explicit material can protect their children from accessing this content? That is the least you can do.
Thank you. Amy Osterman.
My name is Amy Osterman. I'm a product of District 214. Moved my kids back up to this area so they could have the privilege of going to the school that I felt privileged to get my education from. So a little over a year has passed since I was prompted to come and speak at a D214 board meeting. I spoke about my discovery of the signs of suicide assessment given to sophomores. In case you don't remember, the survey is supposedly used to identify students at risk of suicide by asking them 7 yes/no questions that largely deal with self-image that most adults struggle with, let alone kids in high school. The survey intrusive exclusively, and I believe illegally, starts off by asking the student if they are currently receiving care for depression. That was a little over a year ago, and I was only told that the surveys were approved. I have left messages with Dr. Schuler to return my calls, but since I've yet to receive a call back, I'm asking specific questions, and I would like the answers to my questions in writing. Either by email or letter, I'll leave that discretion up to you. How long has the signs of suicide assessment been used in D214 schools? Who proposed the use and who authorized the use of the survey? What were the outcomes of the survey by year and actions taken? Did D214 pay for the use of the survey? And if so, what was the cost per year administered? Who has access to the results, and what are the qualifications and trainings required for a teacher to administer this assessment? Is the signs of suicide survey still being administered in D214? And if not, was it replaced by another assessment? And if so, I would like a copy of the questions answered for the new assessment, along with all the answers to my previous questions. I would also like to mention that the parents that attend board meetings are here because we care about the students in D214 and are looking out for their best interests. We speak out because we see specific areas where D214 can improve. So what puzzles me is that there seems to be a collective sigh when you have to entertain public comments. Not my words, yours. And I'm not sure where that comes from, but that has been my observation from my time attending these meetings. I can only speculate that Dr. Schuler and the rest of the board have a difficult time with criticism. I understand that hearing criticism is difficult, but please understand that we are all here to make D214 the best it can be. I've never once heard a presentation about D214 that highlights a single area that the board recognizes improvements are needed, ever. Do you all honestly think that D214 is perfect or doesn't have areas that need improvement? Have you listened to the excerpts of the books being read? Would you honestly want your children or grandchildren reading those books? I don't expect perfection. I choose to believe that you all have no idea those books were accessible to students. My question, though, is how can improvements be made if you all refuse to recognize any real issues and take any action, but can continue to give yourselves pats on the back? Oh, yes, I can't wait to, congratulations on your November 15th recognition of Illinois School Members Day. I can't wait to hear how you celebrated. And when you do talk about it, it will be the concerned parents to take the collective
Thanks for your
sigh.
time. Miss Edwardson, please.
Misa Edwardson. I didn't have anything prepared to say, but we continually come, and as constituents, we continue to get no answers, no replies, no emails. When we FOIA, we get no response. And this is apparent that you are not willing to answer any questions, partner with your constituents, or even listen to both sides of the story. So you continue to do this, and this is not okay for our students, let alone for us to listen and watch. And more parents out there are understanding that this is happening every day. So please be aware.
Bruce Janu, please.
Hi there, I'm Bruce Janu. I'm the librarian at Hersey High School. You all hold the weirdest book clubs here, where people like read excerpts from books out of context, like this one, All Boys Aren't Blue, which was read from at the last meeting. First of all, I want you to know that there are parents who want books like this to be available to their kids in the library, where no one is forced to read anything that they don't want to. And that's the beauty of the library. The library is a collection of stories about the human experience. You could read those stories or not. It's completely up to you. And there's a lot of talk about pornography being in the library. Kids are not coming to the library to check out pornography. They're watching it on their phones, the very phones that their parents are paying for. Furthermore, there is a place, there is options in place where parents who may not want their kids to check out books, they can have that there for them. Their kid cannot check out a book, but it's really dangerous for a handful of people to dictate what the children of other parents can or cannot read. There are parents in this district who want to celebrate the right to read, who want to celebrate the human stories, but they don't want to come here and go through this very performative, act of standing here in front of you. There is a group of parents, they've formed a group called Defending the First. DefendingTheFirst.org. I don't know if they have reached out to you yet or not, but books have context, and when taken out of context, you lose a little bit of its purpose. So I am, in my remaining minute, going to give you some context for All Boys Aren't Blue. In writing this book, I wanted to be as authentic and truthful about my experience as possible. I wanted the story to be told in totality, the good, the bad, the things I was always afraid to talk about publicly. This meant going to places and discussing some subjects that are often kept away from teens for fear of being too heavy. The truth of the matter is these things happened to me when I was a child, teenager, and young adult. So as heavy as these subjects may be, it is necessary that they are not only told, but they are read by teens who may have to navigate many of these same experiences in their own lives. And I want those readers to be seen and heard in these pages. Please note that this book was crafted with care and love, and most importantly, to give a voice to so many from marginalized communities.
Thank you, Mr. Daniel. Eva Wojcik, please.
Good evening, my name is Eva Wójcik. At the last board meeting a month ago, I read to you a pornographic book called All Boys Aren't Blue that's available in d214 libraries. It wasn't easy for me to read, and I could tell, it wasn't easy for you to listen to the explicit descriptions of sexual acts. I would expect the district administration to address it one way or another. But there was no follow-up, total ignorance. This behavior doesn't match up with the image of caring and excellence the district is trying to project. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Dr. Schuler, your report, please.
Thank you very much. The district received the following Freedom of Information Act requests that were complied with consistent with school code. E. Wojcik requested curricular information. The Citizens Action Group requested athletic information. B. Kim requested bid information. E. Bauer requested teaching and learning information. Auxiliary Documents Team requested bid information. A. Manrique requested bid information. S. Hillstrom requested communications and teaching and learning information. T. Burns requested enrollment information. K. Holdren requested communications. J. Piepenbrink requested financial and personnel information, and K. Meckert requested bid information. As everybody knows, we were fortunate enough to have the First Lady, Dr. Biden, and 3 cabinet secretaries in district earlier this week visiting Rolling Meadows. Congratulations, and thanks to Eileen Hart, the principal, for all her hard work, Pat Moggy and his team for all of their work. And we thought we'd put together a video for the board and the community to see. So this will be our next part.
Schools here in the great country of America, she chose Rolling Meadows High School, the home of the Mustangs.
This is crazy. I'm gonna tell my kids about this. I think it's really cool, especially for me personally, because she's a teacher and I want to be a teacher, so it's really cool for me.
I'm the president of Model UN, so I'm pretty excited that she's here because it's fun that there's an actual political leader at our school.
Out of all the schools in the whole nation, Joe Biden chose Rolling Meadows. It's a really great school, and I'm excited.
It's exciting because it's the First Lady. You got the president's wife coming to our school in the suburbs just to check out our programs. The First Lady's here today, and I get to follow around with my camera and take photos and videos to document her experience here at Rolling Meadows High School.
We are super excited that Dr. Jill Biden is here today at Rolling Meadows High School. She's an educator. She wants kids to have their very, very best of experiences. We're here to explore our college and career pathways. We are so excited to welcome her here today.
Good morning. Good morning. You're so quiet. This is not how you are usually.
I am so proud of the work that we've done here in the district over the last decade building career-connected learning pathways. And what's exciting about this recognition, it really is an acknowledgement of a decade of work by our principals, our school board and community, our teachers, and the students that are excited to engage in these unique opportunities that help inform solid, important decisions that impact the rest of their lives.
It's such an honor to be at Rolling Meadows High School today to welcome Dr. Jill Biden, the First Lady of the United States, and 3 cabinet secretaries to kick off National Apprenticeship Week. It's just off the charts amazing, and I'm so honored and thrilled to be the superintendent of such an amazing, phenomenal district.
As a community college professor, I see how badly we need this and how kids can start, just like all of these, just like Kate, they can start early, they can decide on what they want to do, and then, and so not everybody needs to have a 4-year degree. This is just, it's all about jobs.
Today was incredibly awesome. I got to sit at the panel right next to the First Lady and hear what she had to say. It was just an incredible experience to be able to be there and hear what they had to say and then also talk with them, not just listen.
So I was inspired because my mom is a 3rd-type cancer survivor, and seeing the treatments that she was given really brought her low, and it was not a very good time in my life at all. And I'm currently looking at biomedical engineering because there's got to be a better way to handle that. And
when I shared the personal story about my mother and she took that into consideration and was extremely sweet and definitely thought about it, it made me feel extremely noticed, I guess.
I totally agree with you. I understand that. Yeah, so it came from the heart. Yeah, it's amazing.
This was an amazing experience that I know I'm extremely lucky to be able to be a part of, and I'm never gonna forget this ever.
Hi.
Hey,
How are you?
You've got our teacher here, Anthony Genevetti, and our
Hello.
student Omar.
I didn't know which was which.
It's okay, I'll take it as an alphabet. They're going to talk about our high mileage vehicle here.
Just had the First Lady come by and see our first high mileage vehicle. Pretty awesome showing the First Lady all the great work that our students do in 214 and Meadows. So, and this is a car that we raced last year and we built, and Omar over here was the one who had a good hand into building this.
It's quite exciting. I've never met someone this important, and through her coming to our school and into my class and me even being able to talk to her is a great opportunity. It's made me realize I can make anything I want how I want.
Is it engaging to be learning hands-on? Are you a hands-on learner?
Yes, very much.
Yeah. Do you like coming to school to do this stuff?
Oh, this is probably the highlight of the day. Yeah.
Not your English class?
History.
Ethan and Caitlin are going to talk to you a little bit in a moment about our Robot Rumble project that we have.
I'm pretty glad about the fact that our bot, that we made, we put our time into. Even Dr. Jill Biden would come in to see the effort that we made, just to see how great high schoolers, can make this. So it's just pretty incredible to think that someone of her stature, would come to see what we could do. I just let the First Lady drive our bot. It didn't have the weapon on, but hey, the First Lady drove our bot. That's pretty cool on its own.
What an incredible day. Man, how exciting. Talk about a day these kids will never forget. I won't forget it either.
What an amazing experience to have Dr. Jill Biden here walking our hallways today, talking with students. You can tell she's an educator. She cared about talking to the kids. She asked them thoughtful questions, wanted to learn from them and gain insight. Super proud to have this happen today. I couldn't imagine a better dream, a better experience for Rolling Meadows High School and Township High School District 214.
I love you, Jill Biden! I love you!
So thanks to the team for putting that together. It was great. And I'm sure some of the board members will talk about their experiences during their board updates. As many of you know, I have accepted a new position to become the Executive Director of the American Association of School Administrators. It was a difficult decision, as I love being a superintendent and I love being your superintendent. For 17 years, we've collaborated and innovated, from building, manufacturing, and healthcare labs to turfing fields and greatly expanding dual credit opportunities for our students and their families. Working together, we've continued to build upon the legacy established by our predecessors to ensure District 214 remains a destination district. I'm very thankful for the support of the Board of Education, the associate superintendents, and the incredible principals with whom I've worked over the years. I want to thank the Education Association for always working to get to yes, instead of fighting and arguing and redefining problems over and over again. It's been awesome. The absolutely phenomenal teachers and staff that supports student learning on a daily basis, and an amazing partnership with our local elected officials and our business community. It's been a true pleasure and privilege to be part of the District 214 family, and I look forward to sharing this district's many successes with schools in districts across the country and internationally. I'll continue to serve as superintendent for the next several months, and will begin my new position in late February of 2023. Thanks to everyone in the District 214 school community, and I'm confident that the district will continue to experience unprecedented success in the future. I will miss you all tremendously, as this has been my home for 17 years. At the same time, I'm very, very excited to take on this new leadership position on a national level. Thank you, Mr. President.
Dr. Schuler, we thank you for the years of service to 214, and we wish you the best moving forward. To the community, the Board of Education will begin deliberations and conversations about appointing Dr. Schuler's successor this evening. As we engage in those discussions, we will keep the staff and community updated and informed. We look forward to partnering with a superintendent that will continue to build upon the success that we have experienced to date, and will take us even to higher levels of excellence for every student who walks through our doors, our schoolhouse doors, on a daily basis. Dr. Schuler, thank you. It's been my pleasure to serve with you through this process. I was there in the research process when we hired you, and it just goes a full loop, so thank you very, very much. Board members, any other comments?
If I may, when I was approached by existing members of the board, was not a board member, and they knew there'd be a vacancy on the board, and they knew that I had been very involved as a volunteer in Rolling Meadows South Middle School in Westgate, going back in the day. And they were talking to me about whether I'd like to continue that volunteerism by being a board member. And so I did a bunch of homework. What's involved in being a board member? What do you do? How do you do it? And I went out to breakfast with you, Dave, or coffee. I think it was a Starbucks. And I was so impressed with you and your out-of-the-box thinking and your way to problem solve and your ability to, in that short period of time getting to know you, your ability to demonstrate how you bring people together, how you think of opportunities, how you're so student-focused and centered. I said, I'd love to be a board member, but you're not going anywhere, are you? And you told me the only job you'd ever consider is the job you're leaving us now for. So I've gotten a chance to get to know you better in the past 6.5 years, and I have to say, it's been an honor. It really has. You're a gentleman, you're funny, you have a big heart.
Thank you.
And you work harder than anyone I've ever known.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'll miss you.
Miss you too.
Other comments from anyone?
So, board member updates.
Board member updates. Mr. Heineman.
Illinois
Board Member Kreutzer is joining us via the phone, so she just indicated she's available now. So apologies, Mr. Heineman.
That's okay. The Illinois Physics Teacher of the Year is Prospects Katie Page. She was named the Illinois Physics Teacher of the Year by the American Association of Physics Teachers. She says she strives to engage all of her students by doing fun activities like running on a lily pad in the pool, pushing a full-size car, and parachute drops. Congratulations to her recognition. And a few weeks ago, I had the honor of visiting her class, and I was able to give a presentation. It was a space and astronomy class, I believe. And I was honored to be able to have the opportunity to present a few minutes about Apollo 12. It's not Apollo 11, that you all know, or Apollo 13, but Apollo 12 had many interesting events also. Prospects girls varsity cross-country team won the Class 3A state title.
All right.
They made history as the only team in any class to score less than 40 points. All 7 runners finished in the top 41. Their head coach, Pete Wintermute, was recently named the IHSA Girls Track and Field Coach of the Year. And with all the other exciting things going on at Rolling Meadows, they also had their first state swimmer winner. Vera Connick won the 100 backstroke, and well, I don't remember what her time was, but it was very exciting. It was the first state champion in swimming for Rolling Meadows. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anybody else? Ms. Rauch?
Thank you, President Dustling. First of all, I'd like to thank all the schools. I was able to attend Wheeling High School when they recognized, the NJROTC recognized the veterans at a football game in October. So thank you to all of our schools. I know Elk Grove and Hersey had special events, but I know that all schools recognize the veterans. I think it's important that we remember those who have served and dedicated their lives to our country. So thank you to our schools for doing so. In addition, Navy Admiral Scott Rustin last week visited Wheeling High School. He's a deputy commander of the Naval Education and Training Command. He toured the school and learned about the D214 NJROTC program from instructors and cadets. He told the principal during the visit he was quite impressed. So our NJROTC is combined throughout the district with all the schools. Wednesday nights they have they meet at Wheeling for some education classes, and they have other PT and things Tuesday nights and other nights during the week. So that's a dedicated program as well. Harper Area High School Art Show is going on right now through December 1st. It's in buildings A and C. Everyone's welcome to come to the awards night, which will be Wednesday, November 30th at 7 p.m. It displays art throughout from the district and throughout other high schools. Again, it's at Harper, so be sure to stop by and see. I know some of our students will be recognized for their great artwork. I also had the opportunity to attend Rolling Meadows. It was an opportunity to see the First Lady. Thank you, Rolling Meadows, for hosting the event, and I know there were a lot of hands that went into that, so thank you to all who got us on board. Barb, thank you, and our administration to making sure we did things right so that the event could go smoothly. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Petro?
A little bit different. I want to remind everybody about the
Your mic, Mr. Petro.
I want to remind everybody about the Educational Foundation as the holidays approach, and Thanksgiving in particular next week. I want to remind everyone that we have a number of students that are needy, that need our help. The foundation is reaching out to those children to try to better their lives. I encourage you to donate. You can find their information on the district's website. And I think it's important for all of us to participate in that. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Walker?
Piggybacking on what Mr. Petro said, there's
I'll name 4 schools that are giving back to the community this holiday season. So at Rolling Meadows, they're collecting non-perishable food items during second block classes. The donations will go to All Saints Lutheran Church Food Pantry. Prospect High School is collecting non-perishable food items in the community until tomorrow. The donations will be delivered to the Mount Prospect Food Pantry and Northwest Compass prior to Thanksgiving. And tomorrow's the last day at Wheeling High School for collecting cash donations for Jewel Osco Gobble Gobble Give fundraisers. Jars are located in the main office at the school during the lunch hours, and these gifts will provide meals in November and December for select families at Wheeling. And of course, in this building, Specialized Schools is working with Lemons of Love to collect supplies for kids in hospital going under chemotherapy. They're collecting kids' coloring books, 24-pack of crayons, superhero socks, and card games. Donation bins are in the Specialized School offices. They're accepting gift cards for grocery stores through December 14th. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. We just saw the report of the First Lady being at Rolling Meadows High School, which was amazing. I was there and delighted to be part of it. Also want to congratulate Prospect Marching Knights and Hersey Marching Huskies for their big wins in the last month. Prospect won the Class 5A Illinois State Championship, and Hersey won the Class 4A State Championship, which was very good. I also want to mention that 2 weeks ago tonight, I guess it was 2 weeks ago, we had the National Technical Honor Society inducted up at Buffalo Grove High School. That's an event that started probably about 12 years ago by a person who was head of CTE here. And it's really a great event. The theater was packed. There's probably 20 students from each of the high schools that are recognized. We had a speaker that extolled the virtues of having a CTE program that has internships throughout, and it was really an interesting night. Also, the Veterans Day, which Ms. Rock mentioned, I have gone in the past to Elk Grove High School's Veterans Day. This year, Hersey did the same thing, and they got their invitation to me first, so I went to that. They were all very nice, very, very well handled, so it was really nice to see.
I have an update, too.
Sure.
So my updates are primarily about Rolling Meadows High School, where my kids went to school. D214 is hosting an honors orchestra concert. That will be happening Sunday at 3 p.m., at Rolling Meadows in the theater, Rolling Meadows High School in the theater. So if you're looking for something fun to do to start off a holiday season, that orchestra concert is very promising, and I think it's going to be a great event. And then Rolling Meadows High School senior Cameron Christie signed a letter of intent to play basketball at the University of Minnesota. He's the younger brother of 2021 graduate Max Christie, who signed with the LA Lakers over the summer. Side note, also purple and gold. And he's, the Chicago Sun-Times is calling Cameron the state's #1 prospect in the class of 2023. He had offers from 12 other D1 schools before deciding on Minnesota. And I'm sure we all wish him the best of luck and a great career. A lot of kids play sports and get a lot out of it. Very few play at that kind of elite level. But to all of our seniors going on to college in any type of sports, I hope that, or the seniors who played and are going on without playing in college, I hope that they got a lot out of their sports careers here in district. I also had the opportunity to go to Rolling Meadows this week and see First Lady, Dr. Jill Biden. My time with Dr. Biden was very, very short. I spent a good amount of time with Andrea and Alva and cracking jokes with the Secret Service. And Alva was saying, Millie, you're going to get us in federal prison. They don't know you're joking. So it was a great event. But I had a couple real takeaways from it. Number one is just the takeaway that there's national recognition of some of the programs happening in D214. And I love that the work is, that the innovative work that you've been pushing on us and asking for us to embrace and really bringing to district, it's empowering for the district. I also was so excited to see the students. The students, if you ever get a chance to interact with high school students, they're a blast. They're a blast. They've got their phones. They were chanting, Jill, Jill, Jill. They were so excited to have her there. She blew a kiss to the audience at one point. And then when she left, two boys were arguing. She blew a kiss to me. No, it was me. And it was so fun. And I guess that's my third thing that was my takeaway, was that how much her staff really liked her. They all thought she was fun. They talked about her fondly. They were protective of her, but really had big smiles and so happy to be around her. And her whole group that she brought into the school had such a positive vibe. So I loved that, and I love that energy coming into our schools. So it's great.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi. Yeah, I logged on just a few minutes ago. I think Linda's probably got my time that I logged on. Greetings. I'm sorry to log on late. But good evening to everybody. I just have a couple of updates. First of all, Mike Vargas and I attended 2 TIPS meetings, one at Elk Grove Village and one at Mount Prospect. Good news that we're going to be getting some money from those TIPS. It'll be in next year's budget. But it was 2 good meetings overall. Appreciate it. And then Elk Grove High School Veterans Day, always a fantastic time. The staff does a great job honoring our veterans. And yeah, salute to the National Technical Honor Society students that were inducted. Congratulations to them. Buffalo Grove High School is partnering with the Rotary Club up there to hand out food boxes to registered families for Thanksgiving. They will also participate in Adopt a Family to help fill holiday wish lists. Elk Grove High School is working with Elk Grove Social Services to collect non-perishable items and personal hygiene products November 29th through December 9th at the school. And Hershey's collecting canned goods and monetary donations to fill the pantries at Northwest Compass and Harvest Bible and Willow Creek Care Center. So when you come to the agenda, Bill, I want to pull one item. And end of my report, sorry.
Thank you. Thank you, board members, for your actions and for being involved with what's going on. We're going to move on to the consent items. We do have 2 resolutions, and traditionally we read those resolutions. So, Ms. Kreitzer, you wanted to pull the resolution 8.7 on recognizing Illinois School Board Members Day?
Please.
Okay. And I believe, Ms. Rauch, you wanted to pull a resolution on the American Education Week. Is that true?
Yes.
Okay. Those 2 are pulled. Could I have approval for, or a motion for 8.1, accounts payable, 8.2, personal transaction report, 8.3, approval of disposal of closed session audio recordings, approval of specialized schools construction bids, approval of transportation bid, approval of Buffalo Grove field trip to Montreal and Quebec, please.
So
Motion.
moved. Oh, second.
We have a motion and a second. Who made the motion?
Mark did.
Mark did, okay.
Oh, no. Who was the motion?
You made the did somebody? You
I'll
moved.
second.
All right, we have a motion and a second, thank goodness. Okay, please call a roll.
Petro.
Yes.
Palmer.
Aye.
Dessling.
Yes.
Heineman.
Aye.
Kreitzer.
Aye.
Rauch. Aye. And Walker.
Yes.
Ms. Kreitzer, would you make a motion for 8.7, please, the approval resolution recognizing Illinois School Board Members Day?
I move for approval of 8.7 School Board Member Day resolution.
Can I have a second?
Second.
And,
I could.
yes, you can read it now,
Resolution.
please.
Whereas school board members are elected to sit in trust for their diverse communities, and in that capacity are charged with meeting the community's expectations and aspirations for the public education of their children. And whereas school board members are entrusted with the guardianship and wise expenditure of scarce tax dollars, they are responsible for maintaining and preserving the buildings, grounds, and other areas of the school district that the community has put in their trust. And whereas school board members are responsible for providing leadership that ensures a clear, shared vision of public education for their schools, sets high standards for education of all students, and requires the effective and efficient operation of their districts. And whereas school board members adopt public policy to give voice to the leadership and employer superintendent to administer board policy, they're responsible for regularly monitoring the district's performance and compliance with state policy. And whereas school board members selfishly donate countless hours to public service with no compensation, and whereas employers are supportive of their employees who serve as school board members, generously lending support and time, employers give their employees the opportunity to better serve the needs of their school districts and citizens they represent through sometimes tremendous sacrifice to the employer. Whereas decisions made by the school board members directly impact the quality of life in their communities, placing them at the forefront of American democracy. Therefore, be it resolved by Township High School District 214 Board of Education that we proclaim November 15th as School Board Members Day as a way to honor those citizens who devote so much of their time and energy for the education of children. Adopted this day, November 17th, the 17th day of November 2022.
Thank you very much. Could I have a roll call, please?
Kreutzer.
Aye.
Heineman.
Aye.
Dessling.
Yes.
Palmer.
Aye.
Petro.
Aye.
Rauch.
Aye.
Walker.
Yes.
Ms. Rock, would you please make a motion for the approval of a resolution for American Education Week?
Yes, I'd like to make a motion for the approval resolution for American Education Week.
Is there a second, please?
Second.
Would you please read the resolution, Ms. Rock?
Before I read the resolution, I'd like to give a little background on it. American Education Week began after World War I, when draft boards discovered that about 25% of draftees were illiterate. In 1921, the American Legion, the National Education Association, and the U.S. Office of Education launched an educational campaign to solicit the public support essential to correcting such deficiencies. That year, the first observance of the American Education Week took place. The resolution. Whereas public schools are the backbone of our democracy, providing young people with the tools they'll need to maintain our nation's precious values of freedom, civility, and equality. And whereas, by equipping young Americans with both practical and broader intellectual abilities, public schools give them hope for and access to a productive future. And whereas, education employees, be they custodians, teachers, education support professionals, support staff, bus drivers, or food service workers, work tirelessly to serve our children and communities with care and professionalism. And whereas public schools are community linchpins, bringing together adults and children, educators and volunteers, business leaders, and elected officials in a common enterprise. Now therefore, we, serving as the Board of Education of High School District 214, do hereby proclaim November 14th through the 18th, 2022, as the 101st Annual Observance of American Education Week, and Wednesday, November 16th, 2022, as Education Support Professionals Day. We urge all citizens to make a commitment to public education and to the future of our communities by visiting their local public schools and donating their time and talents to help make the public schools even better. This will be adopted today, the 17th November, 2022.
Thank you very much. Please call the roll.
Rauch.
Aye.
Petro.
Aye.
Dessling.
Yes.
Palmer.
Aye.
Heineman.
Aye.
Kreutzer.
Aye.
Walker.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for reading those, Ms. Kreitzer and Ms. Rauch. Now we are going to move to a roll call action item, approval of the 2023-24 Academic Programs and Pathways Guidebook.
Do you have a motion?
Could I have a motion?
Second.
Thank you.
This was presented to the board at the last meeting, and we've brought it back for action so we can move forward. As usual, we will be bringing a follow-up agenda item in February to the board on just any final edits. I'd like to commend Dr. Lopez and Barb King and Megan Kelly for all their work on putting this together and moving it forward. And we're here to answer any additional questions the board may have, but this was discussed in detail at our last meeting.
Board members, questions, discussion, anybody? Ms. Rauch?
Dr. Lopez, may I just, or Superintendent Schuler, either way, I just want to reiterate that some of the modifications include the literacy graduation requirement. Could you just, the honors written oral communication, the written and oral communication, how it does, there aren't changes to the curriculum, that we are already addressing that, and because of the additions to the requirement.
Yes, so the state of Illinois passed and added a graduation requirement, not a separate course, but a course that's embedded in one of our core content areas for computer literacy for all students in Illinois. Those skills are embedded in the coursework within our English courses that occur freshman, sophomore, and junior year. They're year-long experiences, so a student that completes any of those courses will also meet that state graduation requirements. And there is also other opportunities that students receive when they're visiting the library and doing activities that meet those standards.
Thank you.
Any other comments by board members? Any comments by the public on the action item? Pardon? Mrs. Power. Oh, Ms. Power, please. The same instructions for comments as related in public comments are in force then.
All right, so at the last board meeting during the public comment for the academic handbook, a mother raised the issue that nowhere in the handbook is there any mention of which classes are actually offered at which schools. So I requested this information with a FOIA request. And I learned the following. It's part of what I learned. There's more information there. I haven't dug through it all. For foreign language, most schools offer 3 foreign languages, either French, Spanish, German, or French, Spanish, Italian. Elk Grove offers Japanese as well. Hersey offers only 2 options, with as a third an option to zoom into Buffalo Grove's German class. For science, most schools offer a standard curriculum of biology, chemistry, and physics with electives for seniors. What I was concerned with there was that at Buffalo Grove, the only options for seniors are AP science classes. There aren't any options offered for seniors at a standard college prep level. This pretty much says you might as well not take that for a science class. Elk Grove didn't actually provide this information in my FOIA request. From what I understand, families there are still actually waiting on the information from the staff there on what their core class options are. For social sciences, I didn't do a close comparison of elective options, but what jumped out at me was that at Elk Grove, world history has been downgraded from the standard 10th grade class to just one out of many options, and many kids don't take it. For financial education, 4 of the 6 comprehensive schools offer a semester class, 2 offer only half a semester. Finally, since Project Lead the Way was the focus of the administration's visit at Runda's, and Project Lead the Way being the pre-engineering curriculum, here's a count. Meadows offers 3 pre-engineering classes. Buffalo Grove, Elk Grove, Hersey, and Prospect offer 4. Wheeling offers 5, plus several other engineering electives, including nanotechnology, a paired geometry and robotics class, and a paired honors physics and engineering class. Honestly, even though my son is at Meadows, I question why Meadows was actually chosen, because it seems like Wheeling is the one that has the most opportunities in the pre-engineering curriculum. The bottom line is that there are significant differences in the course offerings among the schools in the real world as opposed to what's in that handbook. Maybe it's all a matter of individual principals having a lot of discretion, but it doesn't really sit right with me that in a district where your home address exclusively determines your educational choices, there should be such great differences between the schools.
Any other comments from the public? Please call the roll.
Petro.
Aye.
Palmer.
Aye.
Dustling.
Yes.
Heineman.
Aye.
Kreitzer,
Aye.
Rauk. Aye. And Walker.
Aye.
Now we have two discussion items. The first one is 10.1, the summer school of 2023.
All right, and I think, is 2022 also on there? Yeah. Is that a separate
can do a
item?
review,
I'm
yeah.
going to do both.
Yeah, we'll
yes.
do a review of that, yes.
So, good evening, President Dessling, members of the board, and Dr. Schuler. I want to thank you for the opportunity to provide an update on our summer school program. So, first, take a moment to provide a brief recap of the 2022 summer program before providing details of the upcoming summer plan. So, we saw nearly 3,000 summer school enrollments this year. About 2/3 of the enrollments in summer school actually were in person, and it was at John Hersey High School in Arlington Heights, and about 1/3 of the enrollments were online. 200 students participated in work-based learning experiences this summer with local employer partners, and around 262 students participated in week-long enrichment programming throughout the summer as part of our talent development program. So, looking ahead to summer of 2023, all of our in-person summer school courses is being proposed to be held at Prospect High School in Mount Prospect, with the exception of extended school year, which will be held once again at John Hersey High School. So the first semester is scheduled or planned to run from June 12th to June 29th, and second semester will run from July 3rd through July 20th. Those weeks where there's a holiday will be in summer school on that Friday. We'll once again offer a number of opportunities for our students in a variety of formats, from on-site to online, in addition to internship opportunities and other unique summer experiences, including, as always, our well-received summer musical. High School District 214 also provides a week-long summer enrichment experiences. These are things such as forensic science, veterinary medicine, nanotechnology, journalism. There's a variety of things that teachers offer to provide during the summers and enrichment experiences. Next year's summer offerings are still in development. Teachers have to submit those courses of interest, and the fees for these enrichment activities will be waived for next summer. In addition, for the first time, we're going to offer access to summer SAT prep course. This will be open to all students free of charge, but specifically targeting incoming seniors looking to boost their scores in the fall prior to college admissions. And finally, we're excited to announce community engagement and teaching and learning are in the process of updating the branding of all these summer activities under a single umbrella of summer experiences. In the past, things have sort of been under different departments and in different parts of our website. So this will include all of the experiences that 214 offers, including our traditional summer school coursework, enrichment opportunities through talent development program, and District 214 summer athletic camps. So they're working for parents to be able to find all the information in a single, newly branded summer publication and on a single page on the district website. So we anticipate the launch of that by the website and the publication by mid-February. So there's no other changes to our summer school program, and certainly open to any questions.
Board members, any questions?
I have a question.
Sure.
Could you
Ms.
go,
Palmer?
I'm sorry, could you go through the cost of attending summer school, what those look like? The fees associated, for the upcoming
Yes.
summer, please.
So we have not changed the fees in quite a number of years. I can't recall. I can certainly find out. So the one semester course for a half a credit is $187.50. We also offer an extensive amount of driver's education, classroom behind the wheel. That's $350. There is a differential charge for any students that are out of district that come to attend at $375. And driver's education for behind the wheel is only after if there's seats available that they can take it with us.
And certain classes are without charge?
Yes.
Like
So-
our bridge classes?
Correct. All of our bridge programming targeting incoming freshmen that could benefit from a summer experience to get them on track and academically ready for high school, those are waived by the board covers those costs, and those fees are waived for bridge to high school, as well as students who are in a specialized program like extended school year and bridge to English for English language learners that are participating in programs during the summer, as well as our enrichment activities. We're waiving fees for next summer. And the SAT prep will be free.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Good. Any other comments by board members?
For the SAT prep, how many do you expect to be?
I don't know. We want to offer it. We're offering, it's embedded as part of the school day and second semester for juniors. We'll offer it in the summer for students maybe that don't take advantage of it there. And we also have an evening program, so we want to provide a lot of different opportunities. I'll come back to the board and let you know. I don't know how many people are going to take advantage of that, but it seems like it might be a good opportunity that those students that, particularly I can see seniors that are trying to meet a certain score for a specific college, I can see them wanting to review in the summer before they retake in the fall.
No, I think that's a good idea. I mean, our schools already offer those.
Yes, they offer them currently in the evenings for a fee. We're going to waive the cost for both the summer and in school.
Okay, thank you.
I would urge the parents of sophomore students, incoming juniors, to take that course between the summer of sophomore and junior year, because junior year you traditionally take that testing. So that'd be a good time to do that.
We're working also, though, on embedding it as part of the school day during the study halls during that junior year, the following year as well.
Doesn't hurt to take that twice, if you ask me.
Yep.
Although I've made my kids take it.
Yes.
Yep.
Any other comments, board members? Comments from the public? Oh, please. Please note that the rules for speaking are the same.
I can say that my daughter took that class and she said it was useless, and I had to pay for it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments?
All right.
Okay, this will come back at the next board meeting for approval. Now we move on to the tentative tax levy.
Yep. Mike Vargas, our Director of Business Services, will walk through the tax levy presentation for the board and the community. Mike?
Thank you, Dr. Schuler, and to the board for the opportunity to present the tax levy tonight. Oh, there you go. Not working. Each year, Illinois School Code allows school districts to formally request a certain amount of revenue to be generated from local property taxes. That process includes presenting the estimated tax levy request, which we're doing today, followed by board approval in December. Once that's approved, we will submit all of those documents to the Cook County Clerk prior to the last Tuesday in December. One of the reasons why this annual tax levy is so important for our district is because it's the largest source of revenue that we have, and it's used to fund a majority of our educational programs, maintain our buildings, pay for transportation, and provide students with the adequate resources that they need. For example, if we look at a breakdown of where we get our revenue, 91% of our total revenue comes from local sources, which a majority of which comes from property taxes. The other 2% comes from interest earnings, rental fees, food sales, and things of that nature. More importantly, the tax levy provides funding for approximately 79% of our total district expenses. And this revenue not only impacts this school year, where we receive 55% of that tax extension from January to June, but it also impacts next school year, where the remainder amount is collected from July through December. In comparison, only 5% of our total revenue comes from state sources, and that's our evidence-based funding. The other 4% comes from federal sources, which includes grants that help pay for our special education programs and provide financial assistance to our students who need it. Doesn't seem like the clicker's working today. So when we're calculating the tax levy, it's important to determine what our known variables are and which we have to estimate. The factors that we already know are our prior year tax extension, the bond payments that we have to make for next year, the Consumer Price Index, or CPI, and the tax rate limits that are set forth by Illinois School Code. The factors that we have to estimate are the equalized assessed value of all property within the district, as well as the total amount of new property in the district. So for the known variables, The CPI that's used to calculate the tax levy is that from the prior calendar year, which was 7% at the end of 2021. And that the Property Tax Extension Limitation Law, or PTEL, limits the increase in that tax extension from to 5% or CPI, whichever is less. Other known factors include our bond payments, like I mentioned earlier, that help fund our capital projects, and certain tax rate caps that are used to calculate our anticipated tax rate. As far as estimated variables like new property, we have a sense of how much that's going to be by working with local municipalities and looking at historical trends. But we really don't know what that final amount is going to be until August of next year, which makes budgeting for the upcoming school year that much more difficult. And for EAV, there are a few different components that go into that calculation. However, I just want to briefly talk about two components that reduce the equalized assessed value, which are tax exemptions and TIFs. For individual homeowners, there are a few different exemptions that they can apply for that would reduce or freeze their assessed property value, and those are homeowner and senior exemptions. For commercial and industrial properties, there are certain classifications that are also offered that would reduce their assessed property values, but those are only designated by ordinances that are passed by local municipalities. And it's important to note that even though we request a certain amount of revenue to levy from property taxes, we never get the full amount due to these exemptions, the appeals process, and our collection rates, which are about 97.5%. Another important factor that plays into our tax levy process or request are TIFs, or tax increment financing. It's a tool that municipalities use to spur economic development in a specific area that might have been vacant for a period of time or that has had its property values decrease for several consecutive years. Once that area is designated as a TIF, that property value is frozen for 23 years, meaning that the district will only receive tax revenue on that frozen property value from that first year. Over the course of the 23 years, the life of the TIF, as that property value increases, that additional tax revenue goes right back into the municipality to be reinvested back into that specific TIF area. Our district currently has 19 TIFs, with 3 new ones that were just created this year, one in Elk Grove, one in Mount Prospect, and one in Prospect Heights. Even though the district might not realize the increase in that tax revenue from these properties, there are several ways that we can receive additional revenue above and beyond those frozen tax dollars. For example, if there are any new residential buildings that are created as a result of that economic development in that TIF, the district can invoice that specific municipality to cover the cost of that increase in student enrollment. Also, schools can enter into an intergovernmental agreement with that municipality where any additional surplus funds from that TIF fund are distributed back to Cook County and then released back to the corresponding taxing bodies. And in both cases, we've been able to receive additional revenue from several of the TIFs that are listed here. So to summarize, we are requesting a 5.94% increase over the prior year tax extension, and we anticipate our tax rate to be 2.421%. However, given the current economic conditions and in order to provide relief to our taxpayers, we are recommending an abatement of our debt service fund this year, lowering our request down to 4.33%. And the only reason that we are in a position to do that this year is because of the sound financial decisions that you, the board, have made over the past several years. For example, we have not had to issue any tax anticipation warrants or go out for referendum as a result of the delayed property tax bills in Cook County. So our next steps are to publish the tax levy in the Daily Herald for public review and hold a truth and taxation hearing at the next board meeting on December 15th. If the board does decide to move forward with the abatement of the debt service fund, there will be a separate resolution to be approved at the December board meeting as well. We will then send all of these documents to the Cook County Clerk prior to the deadline of December 27th. I'd like to open it up to any questions.
Board members? Board members, questions? Anybody? Mr. Petro?
And looking at the request, it asks for 5.94%, but you said that we were capped by 5% or CPI, whichever is less. Can you explain that, please?
Yes, and the reason for that is because we do not know what the total amount of new property will be until next August. So that is why we request a certain amount and what we anticipate that new property will be, which pushes us above that 5.94%. However, if the board does move forward with the abatement, we will lower that request down to 4.33%.
Ms. Palmer?
Can you describe what the abatement would look like? It wouldn't be a check that goes back in the mail to taxpayers, correct? Because
Correct.
that's almost impossible, because that's based on money paid by whoever the homeowner was at that moment in time. So it's a reduction?
Yeah, it would be a reduction in the tax rate that they would see on their bill in December. So typically, the first bill is the 55% of the prior year tax extension, and then you see that tax rate in December, and so they would see a lower tax rate. But fortunately, we have been able to cover that with the funds that we currently have.
Anyone else? Comments from anyone?
I have a question.
Just a second, please. You said 5% is state money that comes to us? 5% of what our...
Correct, yeah, from state sources, and that's our evidence-based funding.
And 4% is from the federal?
Correct, and that includes grants like Title I and Title II, things like that.
I think the important thing to recognize is that prior to the tax, I believe it was 95 when the tax limit was put into effect, and even prior to that, the state used to fund probably 35% to 40%, 35% plus of the funds needed to run the schools in this state. Due to a number of whatever legislative laws were put in or actions, that was reduced, and the difference between what it was 30 years ago and what it is now is an exact 180 difference between local property tax and what the state used to provide before. Now, my understanding is that the state is going to be hopefully increasing some of the funding that we're going to be receiving, which would be wonderful, which doesn't happen very often. The other thing I'd like to comment on is the difficulty it is for you to set up what the levy is going to be, or a budget or anything, based upon the fact that we're really sitting with 1 foot in one tax year and another foot in another tax year, and 1 foot in the one tax year is on pretty solid ground because we already know what it was, but the other one is in mush because you really don't have any idea where the heck it's going to. I received an equalized assessed valuation for my property. I didn't receive the tax bill yet. It's supposed to be coming out in December. But mine went up 37%. So is it going to go up 37%, my taxes? I doubt it. But you just don't know. You really don't know, because it's all over the map, and I give you all the credit in the world for coming up and being able to balance our budgets on an annual basis for the last almost 20 years, I guess.
Yep.
And being able to do that in a fashion that allows us to give an abatement back to the taxpayers, and allows us to reduce our levy down from so it's well under 4.5. That's good.
Yep. Great work.
President Inslee?
Yes.
Sorry. When the discussion was about TIFs, it was said, whatever the equalized assessed value is, put it back into the, over the frozen, it's put back into the TIFs. Well, at our meetings, especially with Mount Prospect, if you recall, we negotiated pretty hard to have an agreement in place where we would get additional dollars. So, and that's, if Mike's there, maybe he can tell you the figure. I don't have it here. I'm not at home. So, but when that money comes back to us, how does that get figured, or if it doesn't even get figured into the levy?
As far, are you asking, Ms. Kreutzer, about the money for the agreements? Or like if the board, if the TIF decides to give part of an increment back? Or are you talking?
Yeah.
So that's money that's outside of the tax levy?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
And the one, which one in Elk Grove is it? I forget which one it is. There was one in Elk Grove where the village, we didn't have an agreement, and they just started rebating us money back. So, it just depends on the municipality.
Yeah, and
But I have another, go ahead.
I was going to say, and the Joint Review Board having that conversation about whether the increment is needed in the TIF or not needed in the TIF.
Yeah, and in one of the tips in Mount Prospect, it wasn't doing as well as they thought, and they were taking money from another tip to fund that.
Yep. So you can move money between TIFs if they're contiguous. So if the TIFs touch each other, a municipality can move money from one TIF to another under state law.
That was our problem that was our problem with Mount Prospect, where we had to get in negotiations, because when that was one TIF's negotiated agreement was voided, and then it was adjacent to another TIF, and they formed a new TIF. Well, we got through that, but the funding we get through those governmental agreements is not astronomical.
No.
I mean, there has to be a surplus in those TIFs to do that. Now, some are larger TIFs, some have larger EAVs that have been more successful, but it's certainly welcomed, but it's not something that's going to change your budget so that you can change the levy down from even a tenth.
Right.
No, it's not millions. It's not millions of dollars.
No.
Well, I have one other question. So when somebody appeals their taxes, and sometimes it doesn't get settled for years, when it does get settled, we get whatever is due us, and that's not ever figured in the levy, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Okay, that's it. Thank you.
Okay, Ms. Palmer?
Sorry. Part of the presentation was a list of current TIFs. And as that was going by, I was looking at them, and I understand that a TIF is generally 23 years. But if just doing some math, some of these are more than 23 years. For example, the first one up there is 35 years. Could you explain that? Because that's a long period of time to have a TIF going on.
Yep.
Yes, there are actually two TIFs that have been extended, and in order for a municipality to extend a TIF, they do have to reach out to each individual taxing body and let them know and come to an agreement that they are going to extend the TIF. So we do have the ability to contest that extension if we so choose.
And the board has a white paper on when they allow, or when the district would support a TIF extension, and when they would not. But you can, after the 23 years, you can pass an extension for 13 additional years.
So you can re-TIF a TIF. So a lot of them look like they're coming due. Those TIFs are in the 30s and 40s.
Yeah.
Right? So a good amount of time from now,
Yep.
15 years.
Even though they show the year they expire, you're probably looking at an extra 2 to 3 years beyond that, because the taxing bodies will hold that until everything is cleared, and that usually takes the better part of at least 2 years for them to clear those out, so that you can then use that EAV in your calculations. There was one in Arlington Heights that closed. It took 4 or 5 years because of lawsuits that were going back and forth on it. But you're right. If somebody wants, if a village wants to increase The length of the TIF, yes, they have to come to us, and they have to get the approval of all of the taxing bodies that are in it.
So the park districts, the high school district, the
Whatever's-
elementary school district,
whatever.
all of them.
Whatever is
Yeah.
in there, they all have to approve it. And quite frankly, I think we've approved 2 or 3 extensions, but there was also a governmental agreement.
Correct.
Where we got dollars back from that extension. That was part of the deal, part of the position paper that we wrote, had it from about 14 or 15 years ago, something like that. Okay, any other board member comments? Okay, any comments from the public, please? Yes?
So after collecting all...
Would you please step up to the podium? Thank you.
After collecting all the taxpayers' money, how is that money allocated? Seeing that you're unsure of how much you're receiving for next year and how much you're going to spend, how is it allocated? Is it allocated by daily expenses? Is it academics? Or is it extracurricular activities? And what is the percentage for each one?
Okay.
Thank you. Anybody else?
You got 2 over here, Ms. Bauer and Ms. Kayer.
So first of all, I know you're not actually going to answer me, but I would appreciate it if you'd be willing to explain what an abatement of debt service is, because it kind of sounds like we're just postponing bond payments instead of actually doing something other than that. I think the public would appreciate knowing that. Second, to take a step back and talk about budget and spending in general, I want to applaud everyone who works to bring career training to District 214. My children have participated in Project Lead the Way classes, manufacturing class, and computer science class, so we appreciate having these opportunities. But there are trade-offs, and you guys never talk about trade-offs. The fact that you have the career pathways is this crystal clear path to recognition. Biden comes because we have career pathways, and nobody's going to come and visit us for the ordinary business of educating students well in a well-rounded manner. There are costs to this program. Some of it is clearly direct. How much does it cost to have a nanotech lab? But there are trade-off costs. The money spent on these programs, on the equipment, on the staff, could go towards extra efforts to helping students who are learning below grade level. Maybe that's why financial education was cut into half a semester, why driver's ed, I'm told, is being stretched to a full year, why some years ago my kid came home and said they got rid of pep band at Meadows. At the same time, there are costs for the kids themselves. Many students maybe would be better off with having double-blocked English or math class to catch them up instead of being directed towards using their electives for career pathways. Many college-bound kids are dropping a foreign language or dropping a fine arts class like band or orchestra because they're being told and believe that they have to take a career pathway class, even if it doesn't necessarily give them a head start in college, or even if they don't really have a big rush to finish faster than 4 years. So I worry. It's great to be recognized, but there are some bad incentives, and honestly, it's a conduct of interest. If your human desire for these accolades, it's going to cause you to shift your energies to things that get you that recognition rather than the things that craft a well-rounded program that don't get you recognized but are the right thing anyway. And that's going to become a bigger and bigger issue. We have inflation above 5%, and in the future couple of years, you're going to have every kid taking a foreign language. That's going to add costs, and it's going to add to this conflict. Finally, none of you has thankfully mentioned this idea that you used to say of it benefits us and is the responsible thing to ask for the maximum possible that we can, because then we're not leaving anything on the table. And there's a new state law that says you can go back and pull any extra money if you forego raising taxes to the maximum 1 year. So
Thank you for your comments. Anyone else like to comment?
Melissa Kayer. The cookcountytreasurer.com does have the second installment property tax bill for 2021 available online right now. And also abolish tax increment finance districts You can vote no at the joint review board meetings, and let the professional investors carry the risk of developing in those areas. Thanks.
Thank you, Melissa.
Thank you. Any other comments? Okay, this will be an action item at the next board meeting, and that's it.
That's it.
Closed session.
Yep.
I need a motion to go to closed session for the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees of the public body under 5 ILCS 120/2, parentheses SLE, parentheses C, parentheses 1, amended by PA 101-459. Could I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you very much. Immediately following closed session, the board will reconvene in open session and may take action resulting from closed session discussions. Is there something else under? Thank you very much for attending the meeting.
We'd anticipate closed session lasting about 60 minutes or so, and I think we need the roll call, Mr. President.
Yes, please give me a roll call.
Aye.
Palmer.
Aye.
Dustling.
Yes.
Kreutzer.
Aye.
Petro.
Aye.
Rauch. Aye. Walker.
Aye.
Thanks, everybody. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving.
Thank you. Have a good Thanksgiving. Okay, Tony, we're live? We are back from closed session, and we have a couple of action items that were a result of activities in closed session. And I would ask that item 12.0, approval of job description, please be read.
I move to approve the modified job description for the Associate Superintendent for Business Services / CSBO.
Second.
Please call the roll. I'm sorry. Board member comments? Comments from the public? Please call the roll.
Rauk.
Aye.
Petro.
Aye.
Heineman.
Aye.
Kreutzer.
Aye.
Dustling.
Yes.
Palmer.
Aye.
Walker.
Yes.
And the second item, 13.0, approval of PTR 2.
Item number 13.0, approval for PTR 2. I move to approve personal transaction report 2.
Second.
Public, board member comments? Comments from the public? Please call the roll.
Walker.
Yes.
Heineman.
Aye.
Petro.
Aye.
Rauk.
Aye.
Palmer.
Aye.
Dustling.
Yes, could I have a motion to close the session?
Kreutzer. I'm sorry.
Could I have a motion to close the session, please?
So moved.
Second.
Please call the roll.
Petro.
Aye.
Rauk.
Aye.
Walker.
Yes.
Palmer.
Aye.
Dustling.
Yes.
Kreutzer.
Aye.
Heineman.
Aye.
Thank you all for being here and staying with us through the night. Have a good Thanksgiving.